Welcome, investors, to Green Book Investment Group YouTube channel. I'm here with Terell Canton, one of the founders of Green Book Investment Group. He's our leading investor with the most experience. Terell, tell them about yourself.
Thanks, Will. Thanks for the intro. Um, yeah, I've been investing hard, I'd say, for 7 years. Went through the process of day trading, swing trading. Um, really look at it from overall having my money make money for me. So that's my mindset when investing. But got in when Facebook went public. Really on the impetus that hey, I know everybody around me using Facebook. So this is people that I know is not going out of business. Let me put my money where mouth is. Made quite a penny off of it. That was my beginning into investing.
Yeah, that seemed like the kind of thing you was looking at people around you, looking at the world around you. That's something that Bradley said in the first interview. What's some of your highlights from investing? Like, what was some of your big hits?
Just recently, Inovio. Inovio is a pharmaceutical company that I've been trading for 3 years now, and it's been ranging from it went down to $1.50, $6, $7, and back down to four, then it was up to $8, and then it's just been riding around the $3, $4 mark. Started creeping up, and then as soon as COVID hit, it jumped all the way up to 19, and that's when I sold, and I had about 300 shares. So that was a good long-term investment play. That I also had a little bit of swing trading um, situations within that stock as well.
Mm. Do you do any day trading? Have you done any day trading, or do you still do?
Yeah. I got into day trading. Really, what I call chasing the market, but just on from a very conservative approach to make $100 a day. That was my plan. I was not trying to get rich. It was fun for me. It's something I did from as soon as the stock market opened till around 10:30, and used the Thinkorswim platform. Also worked with this super trader, Warrior Trading. I told you about him, Will, in the past.
Where?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warrior Trading platforms that they use. So it was a good community to be a part of. Good to get my feet wet in it. But it's fun. It's fun, but it's
How
not
long? How long you said you was doing it for? A year and a half.
little, maybe a year and a half, maybe a little more closer to a year. I slowed down when I just it's one of those things where you got to be in it. And me being having a conservative approach, not flipping my money into it. I never was taking huge risks on day trades. I was again just trying to make extra $100 a day, seeing my money grow, and then leveraging that money to be an investor and go for the long term investments.
Was day trading choppy? Was it like a consistent patterns of wins followed by a few losses, or was it choppy like win loss win loss? What's your highest gain in one day?
So streak wise, I did pretty well because I was super conservative. So I was, I take my money 10, 15, 20%. So I was doing pretty well on the streak, probably 75% hitting. And even on the loss, because I was so conservative, I wasn't losing as much. So a big trade that I made with Nvidia stock made about 5 grand in Nvidia. But that was just based on me
That was a day trade in the video.
day trading. Well, in the process of day, no, that was a long term process with Jay. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay,
I answered
okay.
your question. A day trade big win that I had was with a couple of stocks that I made around. I'd say it's a pharmaceutical company called BFRA. Um, that's the ticker. But I didn't know much about the company. Jumped in and was able to flip some money that I just pulled out of Lululemon and put it into day trading. So that was a good, nice plan. Made about $5,000 on that trade.
Okay. Um, so moving on to investing, like you're more of an investor now. Uh, what would be your style? What would you consider your style of investing? Are you like aggressive? Whether more conservative? Um, what do you like more, growth or dividend stocks? What do you prefer to invest as, or the mix of both?
Yeah, to answer your question directly, it'd be a mix of both. But it's funny, when I was day trading, I was more conservative with the more volatile stocks, and stocks that are long term, a little more risky. So on a strong company, I'd put in invest. I could easily invest a couple of thousand and not really be as fearful of losing my money with companies like Tesla and Apple and again Lululemon, some of the major players, Netflix. So
Okay.
it's easy to be a long-term investor with strong companies.
Those you mentioned were all like growth stocks, so I assume you lean more over to the growth side than dividends.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, dividends is a play with a lot of shares where you can see those dividends. I have an IRA account that I have a few dividend stocks, but as a trader, I haven't been too focused on dividend stocks. What I'd say about dividend stocks, which is very unique, is that it's residual income. So at the end of the day, if the stock is going down, you're still gonna get paid when that dividend strikes. So just in the context, and this is what I would speak about in investing, it's like you want to get into that framework of having an investor's mindset and look at the money as a vehicle.
So you mentioned that you're a little bit more aggressive now with the strong stocks that you invest in for long term. How do you decide whether those stocks are strong or not? What type of research do you put in? How do you go about figuring out, hey, let me be aggressive? So because you're being aggressive, you're spending, you're risking your money, and you're putting, I'm assuming, bigger amount than you would if you were being more conservative. So how would you research those stocks to find out if they were good buys?
A lot of Yahoo Finance. It's three factors for me. It's the cash flow, it's the balance sheet of the company, and then how is the company value based. This is and that's what I would describe as a strong stock. Apple is one of those easily identifiable companies where you can see going into their store that this is a brand, this is a lifestyle, I have an Apple phone, it is not going anywhere. So companies like that are entrenched, you can really feel comfortable placing your money, investing in that stock and using those regular factors, as I mentioned, the cash flow, the balance sheet, and some other factors that just really determine if this company is going to be a growth stock within this the time of frame that you're looking to invest.
Gotcha. All right. So you mentioned Tesla as one of your stocks that they high growth or whatever, and you do your research using the balance sheet and stuff like that. I looked at Tesla's balance sheet. Their debt to revenue or debt to income is not that big to make it like a safe play. What else do you see in Tesla what other factors makes Tesla a good play?
Yeah, good question. To me, what I'd say the reason why their balance sheet is a little off based on all the investments that they're doing to grow the business. So you got to look deeper sometimes with the balance sheets, like ask the why. The reason that makes it a good investment for me is I think about Tesla like Apple and 20 years ago when Steve Jobs was just talking about the iPhone and the new MacBook. Being in that space now with Tesla, where you're on the ground edge of a company that's going, to keep shooting for the moon. So to me, it makes it a great play because they're a value-based business. I mean, the model of their cars is electricity. That's the future, So that's what makes it a great play for me from an investment standpoint.
All right. You know, what do you think about a few weeks ago the market was just running up and then it finally had a correction. What do you think about the market today? Like, give me your experience with this, because in the last with the last interview with Bradley, he was saying, the people who started, which is most of us in this group, this year haven't seen much of a correction. We've just seen the market run up. So from your experience, how's the last few weeks been? Like what's your take on the market?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Bradley. Haven't seen his video. I think he hit it out of the park in terms of the way the market generally trends for September historically, and then of course going into this election season. So this is kind of written on the wall, but I think Warren Buffett said it best. It's fear induces fluctuations in the market, and when people get fearful, that's when you get greedy, so to speak. And I think you gotta really play the market like that too often. And I've been a victim of the experiment too. You just, you think like, oh, I can lose all my money. But historically, that's not the case. And when people are being fearful, that's when you do extra due diligence and look for those companies that are gonna, power through this time. So I hope that answers the question from a viewpoint of this time going into the market, but I think it's all relative to fear. So there's still opportunities every day is my take on the market.
Gotcha. All right, so let's turn our attention to the group. What was you started this back in March? What was the big motivation for starting the group? What was the reason why?
Yeah, I think historically, I looked at people that had these different thoughts about the market, and just kind of, it was something that in one sector of my life, my professional sector, people talked about the market loosely. I did marketing for the NFL for years, so being around people with a high income, this was normal talk. And then in other aspects of my life, and particularly around people I grew up with and my family, really the stock market was foreign. So really wanted to get into the game. And what better time when the stock market is dropping? Again, my motto on fear is when you get greedy. So it was one of those things where you could have thrown money into just about any stock in March and come out, big winners. So that was the impetus, but really was getting people in that mindset of investing, having your money work for you, getting out of this rat race. The stock market is an amazing vehicle. And if you look at just some of the, and people always say a hedge fund manager is winning when he could beat the S&P 500. And that's where they do 7 to 9% growth every year. And when you have a vehicle like that, especially what the banks are giving you these days, you have to be in that. You have to be in that lane. So that was a long-winded way of saying why this was crucial to start a community that we can share knowledge and build.
Okay, so what were some of the highlights of the group since inception? What were some of the big hits or big milestones for the group?
Yeah, during this wonky period, we had some good wins from just a conversational community piece folks that chatted about Zoom and got in at the right time. There was some wins around there on some big surges that really just shot up and shot back down. U1 is a black-owned media company. Same thing with Carver. We had Neo that we were really on from the very jump. Luckin Coffee was another one that shot up and shot back down. So for those that got in at the right time, you know, double, triple, quadrupled your money. But yeah, we got into this pattern with the group of kind of chasing the market, and it was an opportune time because everything was going up. But I think these videos and where we want to go with the group is getting a more structured and really getting into that long-term groove and understanding that that's the game. Long-term is the game.
If I'm brand new to the group or a brand new investor coming in, you know, a friend referred me here and there, and a few other friends is in here, but I know nothing about it. I'm looking to you for advice. How are you getting these new investors that's coming in comfortable with making their first trade? What's their advice? What should they know? Some of the terminology, lingo, what should they know going in? How are you going to get them comfortable?
I mean, my first advice is, again, terminology is in key. Learn the terminology of investing, what an ETF means. That's an exchange traded fund. You know, what does price to earning ratios are, what's the cash flow of a company, how to find out a cash flow. So really the basics that, and then beyond that, just analyzing a company. Sometimes it's a little bit of a research project, but for the most part, a lot of it is common sense or kind of holistic knowledge. You know, will the company be around in the next 5 to 10 years? That's what you got to ask yourself. What are the assets that the company has? Some of the basic research that you can do around investing in the company. And then what's your goals? That's the most important thing too about investing. What are you trying to do with this money? And progressively, how are you going to get there? Because you can easily put your money in the market and play the game of conservative swing trading. I made 5%, I'm jumping out. That's an easy conservative mix. Sometimes you know it may shoot up past that and you're like killing yourself, but you're on to the next one. So I'm really trying to get that new, or I prefer to influence new investors to really get into a mindset of investing, and it's a balance.
Gotcha. That's all the questions I have for you. Have anything else to add to it?
Yeah. I think one, and we mentioned this a bit. The market is going to go through an interesting cycle coming up into this. But people are still going to make money. You know, be fair for what I say for those that are just getting into the game. But do your homework. Know that there are a great deal of ETFs that you can just get on board with. I think we've said them this all through our chat, but there's SPY, there's of course IVV, there's what's the other one? PPLC. These are stocks that follow the SP 500 and Dow 30, some of the top companies. So you can't go wrong. Again, it never fails. Historically, you're talking about 7 to 9% growth on your money, way better than what Chase is giving you, which is 0.1%. So I think I'd leave investors with make sure that you are doing your research, but also know that this is a long-term game investing overall.
So we have, guys. This is Terell Canton, founder of Greenbrook Investment Group. Thanks for taking a little bit of time and finally getting this done.
Oh, you're welcome, man. And we definitely got to give shout outs to Vanessa, who was my colleague when we were at the NFL and who I tapped on the shoulder about investing a lot of times, but we were such in a grind. We both just dibble and dabbling, and finally got the impetus to come together. But kudos to you too for taking the wings, getting our virtual game upgraded, the YouTube channel, everything. So this is where we need to be.
Yeah, shout out to Vanessa. Join our Zoom calls on Sunday. She's hosting our Zoom calls. It's a lot of fun. It's more personal than just sitting back and listening. So we always got something interesting to talk about on the Zoom calls. So join the Zoom calls, everybody.
Got it. Thanks, Will.
All right.
Later, peoples. Green Book, we out.